This world has a way of draining us. It makes us tired, weak, and dependent. When we look around for help, people are often busy with their own lives. Some even place their confidence in temporary things, power, wealth, or human strength. But the Bible reminds us in Psalm 20, verses 7-8. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. They may fall, but we will rise and stand firm. God is not calling us to collapse, He is calling us to stand. Strengthen your weak knees, remove hesitation, stand in faith. The enemy will always try to pull you back, whispering fear, doubt, and excuses. You are not enough. Send someone else. You will fail. But God's expectation has never changed. Stand, and He will bring the victory. Throughout the Bible, we see a clear pattern. God could have done everything by Himself, yet, He chooses people, and nothing happens until they respond and take a stand. Moses hesitated, gave excuses, and doubted his ability, yet when he finally stood before Pharaoh, God delivered an entire nation. Gideon saw himself as the weakest, but when he obeyed and stood with just a small army, God gave him an impossible victory. Elijah stood alone on Mount Carmel against hundreds of false prophets. When he stood for God, fire came from heaven. David did not wait for someone else. He stood in the name of the Lord before Goliath, and saw victory where others saw defeat. Joshua stood before Jericho, even when the strategy made no human sense, and the walls fell. Esther stood at the risk of her life, and saved her people. Daniel stood firm in his faith, and God shut the mouths of lions. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stood in the fire, and God stood with them. The pattern is clear. Victory is not given to the one who makes excuses, but to the one who stands. Many delay their breakthrough by giving excuses, pushing responsibility to others, focusing on their weaknesses. But heaven is waiting for one response. Here I am, I will stand. Just as David said, not in his strength, but in God's name, he stepped forward, and victory followed. So today, leave the excuses, and stop waiting for someone else. Do not let fear decide your future. Stand in faith, stand in obedience, stand without hesitation, and remember, some work is meant only for us. Do not try to push it onto others. And you will not stand alone. God Himself will stand with you. When you stand with God, you will stand strong, and you will see the victory. Amen.